Hi guys and welcome or welcome back to my corner of the internet and YouTubes, and we're trying to figure out the audio, and now we're also trying to figure out the lighting because at 3 o'clock in the morning I decided it would be a great time to rearrange all the furniture in this room. So I'm sorry it's a little bright, I'm sorry if the mic's a little low and a little scratchy, we're figuring it out as we go. But let's just jump into what I'm talking about today, and that is a sci-fi novella, Calypso by Oliver K. Langmead. And I'm going to say 2024 is proving to be a fantastic reading year because even though I'm not going to recommend this for everybody because the writing style can be a little, I don't want to say flowery or purple, but it can be a little flowery and a little whimsical at times. I'm going to say that as far as enjoyment goes, this is a 5-star and definitely a new favorite. If you are interested in this book and you do love it and you do love sci-fi, I want to say that Broken Binding has an edition with pink sprayed edges, and had I known how much I was going to love this and had I known that Broken Binding has an edition, I would have picked it up. But this is what I have, and under 225 pages, this packs a whole lot of story. This is a very small novella. It does pack a lot of punch, but it's very hard to not get into spoilers while I'm talking about this. I'm going to try to kind of tempt you into reading this without giving too much of it away anyway. The Calypso is a colonizing terraforming vessel going to the edges of space with a crew going over centuries and generations building up their own culture aboard the Calypso. The Calypso is conceptualized, and this whole mission is conceptualized by Arthur Sigmund. And one of our main characters is Rochelle. We meet her in the beginning of the book. She is a Christian engineer, not your typical engineer, but she is listed as such on the crew roster. And she is there kind of as the voice of reason, anthropologist, humanitarian, kind of to hold Arthur Sigmund back when he wants to jump. She'll be like, maybe we should bungee. She's kind of there as the voice of reason, where he is kind of just a go, do now, think later kind of character. We are following two different timelines. One, we are watching Arthur Sigmund grow from a child into the current timeline. And as a child and as a young adult, he ventures off to Mars, which has been terraformed already by humans. They've already colonized it. We've terraformed essentially our entire solar system at this point in one way or another, or are in the process of it. Mars was supposed to be our fresh start, our new beginning, but when he gets there, he sees that it's more of the same. We've already polluted it. We've already started ruining it. We're doing it at a faster pace now because we're not starting as cavemen. We're starting as what we are now. And it is just a very grim vision of the future. It's not dystopian yet, but it's getting there. We go to Venus also. We see the same sort of thing. And he just has a vision of starting humanity afresh, not only on a new planet, but also with a whole new group of humans. So the Calypso is traveling to the edges of our universe, to a whole new solar system, looking for the perfect place to terraform and also deposit a cargo of fresh humans that have been incubated and growing. It's not the crew. And they are bioengineered to perfection. They're just going to be located on this planet with a new fresh start for humanity, without the corruption of our past, without the knowledge of our history, for a real fresh start and clean slate, just so it's kind of like his vision of hope, because so far we have kind of just been screwing everything. The character we're going to be spending the most time with is Rochelle, and we meet her in the beginning of the novella. She is being awoken from cryostasis in her cryo chamber, and much like Dark Station, which is what we read last month, the space horror that we read last month, she is waking up and all the other cryo chambers are empty. We don't know what's happened to the other engineers at this point. Are they dead? Did they wake up early? Either way, she is not waking up to a warm welcome. She starts exploring the ship and she finds the biosphere, and within the biosphere we find our other character. We meet Catherine, who is the botany engineer, the botanist, and she is just thriving. She's having a great time. She's super excited about the growth and development of the plant life above the Calypso, and she and Rochelle start exploring. We are also really quickly introduced to Arthur Sigmund, who meets up with them, and he introduces them to the crew of the ship, who have developed their own culture. There's plastic flowers and plastic grass and artificial suns, and it's just not in a dystopian way, plastic flowers, but in a hopeful way. Like, this is what we're aiming for, a planet with this for real, and we're really hopeful about the future of humanity, and Arthur Sigmund is basically our god, and this is just great. We find out what happened to the other engineers in a way. He says there was sort of a rift or a schism aboard the Calypso. We find out later on that some of the crew was like, hey, instead of just giving this great, perfect new world to a bunch of people that we don't know, how about we just take this great new world for ourselves? So they had woken up the other engineers and taken them to a moon close to the planet they were terraforming or planning on terraforming, and they started to create their own civilization. It's very gray, it's very technological. It is the definition of a dystopian society. It is very negative, and it is not something anyone would look forward to. But Catherine and Rochelle do travel there. They do see the potential of what could be, and it is the total opposite of what Arthur Sigmund envisioned on the new world that he is hoping to build with the crew of Calypso. We find out the history about the rift and the schism aboard the ship from the fourth character that is mentioned. She is very brief, and it is one of the complaints that I have, but it's not really a complaint. It's just they had to give us the information, and the only way to do that was to have a character come out and just kind of info dump on us for a chapter. And that was the Herald. She did it really well for what it was. It was in song form. I didn't read it as a song, I just read it normally, but it was in song form, and she is just narrating the history of what happened aboard the ship to Catherine, or to Rochelle. There are a lot of different sci-fi elements in this book. You have space travel, obviously, terraforming. There is a lot of biohacking in this book, and the biohacking in this book is insane. Not only is it like medicinal and cancer-free and all of the disease biohacking, but there are people that are essentially going to live forever type of biohacking. Rochelle has a special type of biohacking that helps her with botany and will ultimately help in terraforming this new planet. But other than that, you're not going to see like alien attacks. You're not going to see interplanetary war. You're just going to get a very bleak and grim look into our future, our potential future. And then you're going to see a beacon of hope. The ending of this book, not the last few pages, but the ending of this book as this book is wrapping up, it will blow your mind. I did not see what was coming at all. I did not see Arthur Sigmund becoming who he became, but he is a shining beacon of hope at the beginning of this novel. Why do I not give this book a 5-star? 1, because of the info dumping from the Herald. 2, because ultimately with the way the story ending, I don't really understand why the other engineers were there to begin with. You won't know why I'm saying that until you've read the book. Like, why were they even there? But other than that, it is a glimpse into our future. Our future could go one of 2 ways, really, and it doesn't seem like there is any hope for humanity because we always seem to keep doing the same thing wherever we go. So will we have to start fresh? Can we continue on with the way we're going? If we have memories, is it better to know or not know? And that's kind of an underlying theme for a lot of books I'm reading lately, isn't it? Is it better to know or to not know? Is it better to go into something completely ignorant of the past and the past mistakes? Or is it better that we just naturally see where we lead? Because it seems we're repeating the same mistakes over and over again with the knowledge we have. Anyway, that's a whole philosophical debate. I don't think that's what Langmead intended us to do at the end of this book. But as a sci-fi, very entertaining. This is the sort of sci-fi I want. It is under 220 pages. So it is a short read. It's a quick read, but it is deep. It will leave you thinking. I thought about this book for the past 48 hours. I wanted to reread it, but there are other things I want to read. It is essentially the opposite of Dragon Fruit that had a whole lot of characters under 300 pages, but not a whole lot of story. So this only had 3.5 characters, but it packs a punch. It's going to leave you questioning things. It gets straight to the point of the story. There is some things that you just don't see coming. And when the bombs are dropped on you, it is just intense. Catherine as a character and as a concept is insane. I was not expecting anything. Nothing in this book is what I was expecting. It is so refreshing to read a sci-fi like this. And I really want to pick up more of Oliver Langmead's writing now. I am just going to go ahead and recommend this. Even if sci-fi isn't your thing, if you have the patience to read through the writing style, which it's not, you're not going to read a page a second here. You really want to take your time reading this because it is very thought-provoking. I do recommend it. It's not just about entertainment for this book. This is also just something that's going to make you think. And that's what I want out of my sci-fi while I'm being entertained. And anyway, I'm going to say 4.5 out of 5 stars. Very, very small criticisms that are going to keep it from being 5 stars. But if you're interested and if you want a spoiler review of this book, then oh my goodness, let's talk about it. And if you've read it, let's talk about it, because obviously I don't know anybody that reads, and definitely nobody I know that reads is going to be reading Calypso. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. I'm sorry this was another fast rushed video, but I will see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out and bye.